Republicans are trying to turn this into a story about process. They're trying to argue that Democrats are doing all of these interviews behind closed doors, that they're blocking Republicans, the public, from seeing what's happening here. The reality of the situation is that there are Republicans who are on the relevant committees who are able to be in these closed door interviews. There are Republicans who have been in these closed door interviews. But Republicans right now feel like their strongest argument is to focus on the process of the impeachment inquiry rather than the substance of it. The impact of it is probably negligible. If you're someone who thinks that the Democrats are having a secretive process, this was another sign to you that that is happening. If you're someone who thinks that Republicans are trying to focus on process because they can't focus on the substance of it, this was, again, just another example of that.
3 days to 10 years, and we're getting out. None of our people are injured. It's very small.
President Trump really wants to see the Republican Party fight for him. They want to see lawmakers battle back against Nancy Pelosi, Adam Schiff, the other Democrats who are in charge of this, and this is one of the ways that the GOP lawmakers are able to do that. So certainly this is something that the president was able to watch on television, something that had his endorsement and certainly his support. Democrats say that this is just proof that Republicans can't defend Trump on the merits of the investigation, that they can't come out and say, we believe that he did the right thing in his conversations with Ukraine. They can't come out and defend him based on what these witnesses are saying behind closed doors. So they see this as a sign of desperation. We are likely moving to a place where Democrats will have at least some public hearings. They want to do interviews in private for now. They do expect that at some point they will do something in public before getting to an impeachment vote. But right now we're seeing Democrats walk through a very methodical process. They're moving quickly, but they are moving methodically, trying to build this case against the president, gather all of the information they need so that they can go into these public hearings with what they feel is the strongest case possible to make this argument for impeachment and to make it in a way that tries to bring along public opinion with it. Ambassador Taylor's testimony was seen by a lot of Democrats as game-changing. They described it as disturbing, as devastating. Much of what he said is in line with what other witnesses have said previously. There are also pieces of his testimony, though, that need to be corroborated by witnesses coming in the next few days and weeks. But certainly he laid out a picture of a president who was seeking to have Ukraine investigate his political rivals in exchange for military aid, for a meeting at the White House, and he did so in great detail. Largely, you're seeing Republicans hang together on this. You have a couple of members who have said things that are critical. Mostly you have Republicans who are just trying to avoid saying something definitive one way or another. But even though you have Republicans who are upset with the president on other issues, the situation in Syria, for example, you aren't really seeing much of a break in the party on the question of whether the president should be impeached or not.